Marco asks,
Marco?
what is the
Sorry.
best / most charismatic way to get a professor to be a mentor in college? What about life in general? I liked this question because this is one that I also have. I struggle to find sort of help in my field. So,
Do you want to take this? Because I have not done a good job of acquiring mentors.
No, I was actually going to point this to you. I was going to say we managed to do all this mentor list, which is not what I'd recommend.
Yeah.
But we have friends who have done this.
Who
So
are you
I
thinking?
think of Zach
Yeah.
and Justin.
Yep.
And the way that they
And John.
do it, which I think is smart.
John. Adam Grant.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know his story, but I have two friends who have done this with very successful people.
Yeah.
And in both cases, they started with, how can I add value to this person's life? So they came in and they basically were offering free work, very similar to Charlie Hone and Tim Ferriss, actually. And it was, I'm not just going to do this in a cold email. I'm actually going to research this person and what they care about and what they're currently doing. And then I'm going to think, what problems might they be facing and what do I have skill-wise where I can actually help? And it wasn't through cold email.
Do you know specifically what these guys did? Do you know that just as a concrete example?
I know that Zach wrote Tucker an email that was about, hey, I know you're working on this. Here are the things I think that I could do to help. And it was this big thing. And I think he was off, but Tucker was just impressed with his
attempt to get it right.
And he was like, you know what? Like, let me tell you what I'm actually having issues with, and tell me what you would suggest there.
Got it.
And it started very slow. It wasn't like, this is a great email, kid. Why don't you come move out to Texas and be my mentee?
Yeah.
It was like, all right, cool. You're trying to help me. Those aren't the problems I'm having. Here are the problems I'm actually having. And
Ryan
then
Holiday did something similar. And my friend John, I believe, the other thing, you mentioned it, but just to underscore it, is to engage with the work that they are doing. So if you come in and you're like, I could do this, I can get you coffee, that's less persuasive than, I've read your books, I've done your this, I took it the next step. So my friend John, for instance, back in college, he started 5-Second Favors, which was based on Adam Grant, who I believe was a professor of his, Give and Take. And the idea was he started this listserv where anyone on the listserv could ask for a favor from the rest of the group at the listserv that took 5 seconds or under. So it could be, like
upvote this Reddit post.
Upvote this, whatever. And he doing that, I think, was not only a product of that, but brought him closer to him because he was engaging with his work on a level that showed that he was into it.
I've got another one, actually. Our friend Edward, he wanted to get closer to this person he admired. And so he was learning about them, trying to figure out what they like, what they don't like. He found out that this person was interested in a certain topic.
Yeah.
Then he found out the person was having an event in a country close to him because he's from Europe. And so he flew to the event and bought a ticket to the event so that he could go. So that at the end, when fans were going up for pictures, he walked up and he said, hey, I just wanted you to know I know that you're interested in this thing and I brought this book for you. And the guy went, oh my God, that's awesome. I just bought this book for myself. And it started this. And he's like, oh, let's talk for 3 minutes. Cool. Nice to meet you. No initial mentorship. And then he got an email address, I think. And a week later, he shot him an email and they had this slow thing. And then eventually he went and did free work for him. And then he used that to get a job with another person he admired that was a paid job.
It takes time, which is why it's not fun. A guy did this, and I wouldn't describe myself as a mentor to him, but the people that I think of that I have been able to help, I got off the phone with Zaino yesterday, and he originally reached out and said, Zaino has done some of our animated videos. And he reached out and said, I'd love to do an animated video free of charge.
Yep.
Check out my animated videos. And they were sick. So we're like, okay, let's do this.
And then eventually we started paying him.
Yep.
But he started with free work.
Yep.
Same with our editor.
Yep.
Our editor started editing for free, right?
It just makes it you stand out immediately when the person feels like there's no cost to them.
And it's a real offer, though. Because I've had people, I'd love to come be an intern. To train someone, it takes me time. I don't really see a lot of value coming out. Someone came in and said, hey, I like your breakdowns. They're kind of weak on editing. I'm a video editor. Do you want me to take a shot for free of editing a video? Cool. He did. It looked better than ours. He said, all right, cool. Do you want me to do the next one too? And then eventually he got paid very small amounts. And then now he's
full-time
making good money on it.
So the last one, because now we're just piling on, but I think the guy who can't, this is just to, you asked the question, I'll give you the examples. I wouldn't describe myself as a mentor, but if he reached out to me, he's got my personal email. He could get a hold of me and he's gotten, he can get help from me. I sat down to lunch, bought him lunch, gave him as much business advice as I could in that time period, and he can contact me. This is a guy who reached out to me via email. I didn't answer because I didn't see it because we get too many emails and I can't process them all. And he said, hey, I'm Australian, but I'm coming to LA and I'd, love to film you at this event that you're doing. I didn't see it. I go to the event, show up. There's a dude in full camera gear with a sling over his shoulder. He goes, "Hey man, I'm Dave. I emailed you. I'll be shooting you today." I was like, "Great. Are you with Powerful You? You with?" He's like, "Oh no, I'm here for you." What? Okay. And the truth is, I don't need that footage. But
you're just impressed with the fact that he showed up and was
there all day and got various angles. Okay, we're gonna get this, and did what would have been, if I needed it, an excellent job of the video editing.
That's the other thing. You got to do a good job. To do this and then botch it does not get you a mentor.
Well, the truth is, I didn't actually view it. I just could sense from the way that he was setting up his angles and that kind of stuff.
Sure, but if he rocked up with his iPhone,
yes,
I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna videotape you."
He had multi-cam.
Yeah, which
setups.
I'm just saying.
Okay, put
figure
this
out
mic
what
on.
Figure out what you're good at. How can you actually help these people? You want them to help you.
Yeah.
Start thinking, how can I actually be valuable to them and not just someone who's teach, give me your time.
There was no guarantee. No guarantee.
No,
of
never.
This. At the end of it, I said, "Thanks, man. You were great. I'd love to take you to lunch." But that's not a guarantee. Mm-hmm. So all of this stuff just gives you a high percentage shot. And I think with a professor who maybe isn't famous or in demand compared to some of the other people that we've talked about, you should be able to knock this one out of the park.
Actually, now that I think about it, professor in particular,
You probably just show up to office.
No, I did this on accident. Get excellent grades in their class, become their TA. Mm-hmm. I did this with a guy I didn't really want to be my mentor, but I was looking for some extra money.
Yeah.
So I got a great grade in his class. I thought the subject was interesting. I was like, yeah, I could do this TA thing. I applied to be a TA. Now all of a sudden I have a ton of his one-on-one time. Mm-hmm. He happened to be he was a multimillionaire who was a venture capitalist. And if I was interested in that, that relationship could have been something I fostered. I was just looking for $500 extra paycheck to spend on food and beer, but that would work for a professor because they literally need TAs.
Yeah.
And so if you're someone that they like, who's excellent at
everything we said is great for mentors, and for a professor it's overkill, but will still work.
Yeah,
I think.
But also you just go be their TA.
Yeah, cool.